Stream screen stop live. Stream screen stop live. Stream screen stop live. Button.
Okay. Is this going? I'm not sure.
YouTube. Now. Red circle emoji. Watch live now. Music. TDS. NIOS. Sinterklaas first annual live presentation with facts and evidence. Attachment.
That was Hij Komt. It's one of the songs, it's one of the songs that's part of Sinterklaas liedjes. I am now going to go back to the live stream and see if the sound's working.
Voice. Two bar. Go back. Press go back. Out of new vert one. Vertical splitter. Collapsed one. Vert one. Vert two. Go back. Press go out of new vert one. Vertical splitter one. In search. Misspelled. Search.
Okay.
MUSIC music TTS misspelled ADNIOS. Misspelled link. Producers learn the keyboard button. Visited link. Music TTS. Press visited link. Music. Edit music 100 custom visited home videos. Press videos. Selected tab play chat about start upload link sort by heading level 3 link. Sinterklaas first annual live presentation with facts and evidence by music TTS and iOS 2 minutes ago. Compliment. Presentation with facts and evidence by music.
Yes, it's
TTS
working.
And iOS 2 minutes net mute 100 live minute fair full air minute player set it live blind button.
All right,
Pause.
it's working. Now that I know that it's working, we can start the presentation. All right, so hello guys. All of you, my fellow viewers, everyone from around the world. Welcome to this first annual presentation of Sinterklaas. This presentation, I've never done this before on my channel, so this is like the first time doing this, and the purpose of this presentation is to spread awareness about Dutch holidays, Dutch traditions, and appreciating the culture of the Netherlands, because my channel is always devoted to international viewers and something that might appeal to international viewers. So, here's how the presentation is going to work. We're going to start off this presentation with a few facts. So I'm going to present to you not all of the facts, but just basically some basic facts. So all of you who don't know what Sinterklaas is can have a basic knowledge of what this tradition is and what this tradition is basically all about. So we're going to start with some facts, and then I might play through some few Sinterklaas songs. I'm not sure. I've been scrambling to find instrumentals for this event, but I haven't been able to, because the playlist that I've used, that one's gone. A whole bunch of instrumentals I can't find, so it was a matter of frustration. It was a matter of frustration. And What else was I gonna say? But I will try to play through some songs as best as I possibly can. And then at the end, we're gonna have a discussion, because there's one particular thing in the presentation that is up for like a huge debate, and that's what we're going to discuss in this presentation. Now, for a lot of Dutch viewers who might be watching me, for a lot of my Dutch viewers, you might be watching and saying, why are we doing another discussion thing? Because, again, my live presentations aren't just about facts. It's not just about me straight off presenting facts and being like, I'm done. For me, I want it to be somewhat a controversial presentation. For me, I want it to be a presentation where it's, for me, I want it to be a presentation where it's more debate, more discussion, more kind of thing, and also presenting facts at the same time. So that's why the presentation is called, that's why my series with all these presentations is called Live Presentation with Facts and Evidence, because there are facts, but then I also kind of express my opinion and your opinion and then use evidence to suggest that. So, for a lot of you Dutch viewers, you're probably going to know what the discussion is going to be, but but right now we're just going to start with some basic facts. Before I do that, I'm going to see if anyone's on the chat.
Type a message. Text field. Connected chat. Connecting. Ellipsis. Connected. Type a message. Stream screen stop live. Button. Type a message. Text field.
Settings, minutes, and head started 0, 0, shared disc like this, started streaming 6 minutes ago. Heading left, end of comp, heading end of air, minutes, 6, 1, mute, neck, play, 2 minutes 40, YouTube, 2, play, next, mute, neck, play, K, press, pause, K, button. Neck, mute, 100, skip ahead to live broadcast, press, skip ahead to live broadcast. 1, mute, neck, pause, K, press, neck, mute, 1, skip, mid, air, and head started 0, 0, share, save, more, visit news, 1, link, heading left, link, entertainment. Frame. In frames, welcome to live chat, link, music, TTS, and iOS. Say something. Your music, TTS, and iOS. Say something. Edit text.
I'm gonna actually post a chat.
AI, hi. GUYS. Guys, period space. HOPE, hop. YOUUENJOY, enjoy, TEE. Say S, this. LIVE, live. PRESENTATION, presentation, period, space. IIWILL, BEB. CHECHH KING checking CAATS chats AS IIGO go ALLONG new line selected along suggest emoji button edit text blank image 0/200 image edit face music TTS and iOS comment actions button music say something music hi guys, I hope you enjoy this live presentation.
Alright, so we're gonna start with some basic facts. Again, most of you Dutch viewers may know this. It's all good. I'm just basically presenting these facts to people who watch me who don't know what the heck I'm talking about. All right. So, Sinterklaas is basically so this holiday is celebrated around between November 16th and December 5th. Now, I've heard a lot of people say that it's a Dutch equivalent of Santa Claus. It's actually the other way around. Santa Claus is actually the anglicized equivalent of Sinterklaas. Now, if you want to know how it's spelled Sinterklaas. So the tradition states that Sinterklaas originates from Spain, and he arrives to the Netherlands on November. He arrives on the Netherlands on a ship with his horse from November 16th, and that's when the tradition begins. Now, any of you Dutch people. If I get anything wrong, I'm very sorry. Be sure to correct me in the comments below.
Welcome
Now, the history behind it is that it originates from a legend of Mida, which was back...
6:30 a.m. The alarm is off.
Sorry, that's my talking clock going on in the background. Ignore that. It comes from the legend of Mida, which dates back to the 4th century, which I have learned suggests that Mida was from Turkey, but there was some specific reason why it suggested it was from, why the Dutch version of Sinterklaas suggests that Sinterklaas originates from Spain. But I cannot remember it off the top of my head, but I will link the video where I found all this information in the description below. Actually, I'll link a few videos, because there's a few videos about this tradition. It is a... It is a tradition that... So the first thing that happens during the tradition... Now, this is, again, from what I remember. I will, if you want more accurate information or any more information, I'll link the videos in the description. The first thing that happens during the tradition is each child... Again, this tradition is just like Santa Claus. It's for children, but it's slightly different. Each child will put a carrot or something in a shoe, which is for the horse, because Sinterklaas arrives with a horse. And then when Sinterklaas drops by, if the child again is nice, the horse will take the carrot or whatever it is, and then replace that with a treat. Now that is, again, if the child is nice. There used to be a thing that if the child is naughty, there used to be a thing that if... Now this doesn't happen right now, but back in the day, there used to be a thing, or a myth of some sort, that if the child was naughty, the Sinterklaas would take the child, put the child in that sack, what's called the Zak van Sinterklaas, and take with him and Zwarte Piet, I'll get to him in a moment, to Spain. Now again, that's not the current tradition, so there's no need to worry about that. Now, for a lot of older people who celebrate the tradition, you can write poems based on the tradition. Now, honestly, I've never, well, I don't think from what I remember, none of my Dutch friends have done that, but that can be a thing if you want to take part in the tradition. And once that Sinterklaas arrives, at the door, each child will, I guess, not be required, but each child will have a chance to, will have a chance to sit down with Sinterklaas and then talk about what kind of things they did this year and maybe some recommendations on how to improve. And then it will probably ask the child to sing a song. And I will get to the songs on Sinterklaas in just a moment. Because honestly, songs about Sinterklaas, there's a ton of them, but I don't know every single one of them, being studying being a Dutch language student. I don't know every single one of them, but there is quite a few. I'm just gonna pause for a moment and check chats.
Music, TS, and iOS. Hi guys. Type message. Text field. Music. Connected chat. Connecting. Connected. Music, TS. Type message. Text field.
Comment. Hi guys. I hope comment music. Say something. Music. Hi guys.
Let me see if there's anyone watching.
Music. Public. 1.
Well, there's one watching, but that's probably just me. Okay. And then, so songs I'll get to in just a moment. Now, on December the 5th, which is the final day of the tradition, children, you will hear a really loud knock at the front door. Now, when the door opens, when the door opens, there will be a ton of more gifts, and then I can't remember exactly, but at some point you get to throw what's called pepernoten at the you get to throw that thing, and honestly, December 5th is the day when things get really, I guess, crazy and really exciting. So let me get to what Zwarte Piet is. Zwarte Piet is the Zwarte Piet has not been part of the tradition until the 18th century, I think it was. I regret not having drank this hot chocolate until just now. I'm so but it's the reason why. Now, the word zwart in Dutch means black. So the translation of that is Black Piet. Now, the reason why Zwarte Piet is black is because, the reason why Zwarte Piet is called Zwarte Piet is because when the horse goes through the chimney, in the chimney there's soot. And when the horse goes through the chimney, there's soot on its face, and its face turns black. That's why the thing Zwarte Piet exists. Now, this is where my discussion is going to happen at the end. Now, there's no one currently watching, so I will kind of say my opinion. I will show you guys a video, and then, actually, no, I won't show you the video, but I'll link the video in the description. But, I'll maybe summarize a few statements from that video, but then I'll link the video in the description, and then I'll say my own opinion on the tradition, on the Zwarte Piet thing. And then, if you're any of you who are watching after I stop streaming, you can post your opinion in the comments below. I think that's a good idea too. So, now this is where it becomes a huge debate. And the really weird thing about this Zwarte Piet discussion is that a lot of it actually starts months, 2 months, at least 2 months before the tradition even starts. And the discussion basically starts around September. And the discussion is this: should Zwarte Piet stay black, or should it change? Now, how did this discussion start? How did this discussion start? Is pretty interesting because there are some people in the Netherlands who think that Zwarte Piet, it's good. It should stay the way it is. Why? Because it's part of the tradition. And then the other side is the people who say that Zwarte Piet is racist, and it reminds them of slavery when when a black person would work for a white person, and so therefore the tradition should change. Now, I will get to this discussion in a moment, but before that, I'm gonna get to some songs that, again, I'm gonna get to a few songs that I know that I personally like a lot. So the first song we're gonna...
Comment action. Hi guys. Comment music. TTN. Vert 1. Sinterklaas. Main. Compute. Play. K. 7. Neck mute. 1 hut. Skip ahead to live. Press skip ahead to live broadcast. Linked button.
Now, I will get to this discussion in a moment, but...
1 mute neck close. K. Button along with 0 other Pete start heading level 1. Sinterklaas started 0. Dislike 0. Share. Save. Button. Share. Dislike this 0. Like this. Started heading level 1. Sinterklaas first annual live presentation with facts and evidence. You are currently on a heading started stream like this video. Started streaming 20 minutes ago.
Okay, so I'm gonna show you some. I'm gonna play. I don't know the lyrics to a lot of these, but I'm gonna play through some songs that I personally really like. Probably about 2.
YouTube. Go back. Press go back. Press back. Item new. Vert 1 music. TTN. Vertical splitter. Collapsed 1 music. Vertical splitter. 1 music. Vert 1 1 1.
So the first song I'm gonna play through is a song called Wie komt alle Jahre, and it's a really pretty song, and I'm not gonna use instrumentals for this one, primarily because I don't want to get copyrighted for this, although I have used the Hij Komt instrumental, but I'll play through it on the flute for you, just so you know what it sounds like, but
Vert 1 1 1 1 music. Vert 2 bar into go forward. Menu press go forward. Out of new. Vert 1 music. TTN. Vert 1 music. Vert 2 bar into go forward. Go back. Out of 2 bar. Vertical 1 1. Sinterklaas in. Got visit seats. Search. Sorry. End of screen. Mute note 1. Okay. End of main. Mute 20 next. Mute neck was. K button.
I'll play it through it.
Press play.
So I'll play through it on the instrument for you. So you know what the melody is kind of like. But it's... I'll show you I'll actually link you the videos if you want, the lyrics. It's really short. And probably one of my most favorite ones is a song titled Sinterklaasje, kom maar binnen met je Piet, or met je knecht, depending on how some people sing it, because I've seen both versions. That one I might have to use the instrumental for, because
Address HTTP closing menu. Unselected. Y. TTPS. YouTube web content. 50% loaded. 86%. 90%. 90%. Vert 2 in. Got this seats. End of screen. YouTube notifications. Press notification link. Cyberhygienia act link. Ultimate killer act link.
Sorry, I'm checking notifications. I shouldn't be doing that during a live stream.
Vert YouTube and note end of link navigate end of main act 600 main end of okay note end of search. I sent. ERKLAASGE misspelled. Sinterklaas P O co comma M com MAAR mar BINNEN bin INSTRUMETAL. Instrumental. Search film heading level 3 visited link. Sinterklaas kom maar binnen. Instrumental by Paul Pat. Compliment. Zip next was 0 minutes 2. Voice over off.
Okay, I'll play you guys this one. Okay, I'm not gonna play it one more time through, but that's basically how it goes. So, again, I will link some of these songs in the description down below. There's a lot of things for me to include in the description, but yes. So that now that we've
720p.
gotten
1. Public. 26. Connecting. Ellipsis. Connect. Music. Type message. Speech off.
now that we've actually gotten into the whole facts portion of the thing, I wish I drank this hot chocolate way early on. I was so focused on like trying to set things up for the live stream that I didn't actually drink my hot chocolate in time. I also got 2 pecan tarts. Tasty, isn't it? By the way, they were all to prepare for the stream, so it doesn't matter. I can eat them on camera. So now that we've got to the actual facts part, this is where the discussion's gonna come in. So like I said earlier, we mentioned Zwarte Piet. I love these tarts. We mentioned Zwarte Piet and kind of the discussion around Zwarte Piet and why Zwarte Piet is called Zwarte Piet. Now, so this is where you guys are gonna get involved. So, again, to recap, there are some people that say Zwarte Piet should stay as Zwarte Piet because it's part of the tradition. And let me tell you that Dutch people, from what I know and from all the partners that I've talked to, they are extremely passionate about their tradition. But for some people, it's a big deal. Like, I'm saying a huge deal because they think it's a symbol of racism. I'm gonna have a lot of things to clean up, but I'll clean up after the stream. So, what I'm gonna do, because there's no one on the chat, and I don't think anyone's gonna come on the chat, I'm gonna show you guys some statements, some impact statements from other people, and, some partners that, because I've talked to a lot of Dutch partners, because, I've been trying to get help learning Dutch, and I am a Dutch learner myself, so that's why I'm doing this presentation. It's because I value Dutch culture, but I'm basically going to show you some of the statements from some of the people that I've talked to, and then some of the foreign language learners at learndutch.org summarize their summary, and theirs was in a video. I will link that video, and then I'm gonna state my opinion, my general opinion on all this drama. So, some of the statements that I've basically heard was that, again, from the people I've talked to, a lot of Dutch partners are extremely passionate about their tradition. And so, one Dutch partner that I talked to 4 months back, he said it should 100% stay because it's a tradition, and tradition is important. Now, I will get to my opinions on that in a moment, later. But he basically said it should 100% stay because it's a tradition, and tradition should stay as a tradition. Now, another partner, he said that, I understand, like, he's kind of in the middle, honestly. He's Dutch, but he's kind of in the middle. And he basically said, I can understand the point of someone, like, some of the protesters, and I also kind of believe that, the tradition is wrong. I mean, not wrong, but I also kind of believe that it should stay with the tradition, but the way of protesting is wrong. That's what I meant to say. The way of protesting is wrong. Now, what does he mean by this? Well, that's the exact question that I asked him, and he said that instead of protesting towards the Dutch government, those protesters are basically protesting towards the parade holders. And this is where things get really, really bad. They protest towards the parade holders, basically screaming at organizers right in front of the children, too. And then they just ruin the day for everybody. And they scream at the people organizing the parades for the children. Which, again, it's common sense. Like, that, to anybody, that sounds messed up. Like, I would probably say, like, almost 100% of you guys would agree with me on this. It sounds messed up. The fact that you're screaming at parade holders, like, it's not, again, I'll get to my opinion in more detail later, but he said that's not the right way to protest, and honestly, I totally agree with that. It's not the class or not. It's not the right way to protest under any circumstances. And I would hit like on this video if you agree with this statement. Like, protesting against parade holders is absolutely absurd and uncalled for. Hit like if you agree with that statement right now. Anyone who's watching this, or anyone who's watching after I finish the stream, hit like on this stream if you agree with this statement. Honestly, under any circumstances, it's not right. And I totally agree with him. It's not right to protest like that under any circumstances. Here's some other statements. Honestly, it shouldn't matter. Because kids don't care. Like, kids, they're not gonna care. All they're gonna care about is having fun and getting gifts, having a fun childhood. That's all they care about. They don't care about the whole thing, is it racist or not? So why should anybody else care if kids don't care? Now, I'm kind of 50-50 with this statement, and I'll get to that again when I state my own opinions later. Some other statements I've heard is, I've heard, people say it's totally racist. I've heard, like, people say it's totally racist, they should totally change it. And then I've heard other people kind of like, oh, it's a traditional thing, it should stay. But honestly, the statement about, kids don't care. If kids don't care about why it's racist or not, like, they're not smart enough to care. You're talking about 4 to 12-year-old kids. You're talking about kids that are really, really young, like primary school kids. And they're not smart enough to know what these things are. Why should anybody else bother with that? And honestly, that statement, it was a really good statement. It was a really good opinion. And I'll show you more. You can see more of the statements. There was a lot of statements in that video. I will link that video in the description. So, again, I'm Korean, but I'm studying Dutch, and I'm studying Dutch culture. What's my opinion on all this? For me, I would say it's 50-50. And here are my reasons why. I am a person who totally values tradition. And culture is a very important thing. And that's why, for me, learning a language that's not very popular is very important to me, because language is part of a culture. Well, Sinterklaas is also part of a culture. It's a tradition. It's a holiday. So, in a way, I agree with some people. I agree with the statement that it should probably stay as the way it is. But I can understand from the point of people who say that it's racist and change. So, for me, I can understand both sides. Now, again, I'm not Dutch, and I've never celebrated it. I've only studied this. But I can definitely understand from a Dutch person's perspective why they would say we should stick with this tradition. It's not the wrong thing to say. It's totally right. Like, it's totally the right thing to say. You have your own opinion. You can say it. But I can understand from another person's point of view that says Zwarte Piet is racist. Now, because it has something to do with, they should change it because it has something to do with slavery. I can understand from the point of that person's point of view. Now, remember I mentioned one of the statements where I said, where somebody said, well, one of the statements said that, kids don't care. They're not smart enough to care. Why should we care? Well, if we think about it this way, is the tradition going to be so bad that it's going to impact what kids think about black and white people in general? Because if the answer is no, because there can be two possibilities here. If the answer is no, then it shouldn't, if the answer is no, it shouldn't, impact, it shouldn't be a huge deal. But if the answer is yes, then it might be a huge deal. So, there's two possibilities. If this affects a child's learning ability, and if this teaches a child a wrong message, then it probably would be a problem. But what if it doesn't? What if it doesn't impact the education of children? Which I don't think it will, because if children don't care and all they care about is having fun, then why would what you're teaching them matter? But if it does matter, then it could become a huge deal, and maybe it needs to change. So for me, I'm on both sides, but at the same time, I would kind of consider a few more factors, like whether is this going to harm a child's education, or is that not going to impact anything to do with the education of a child or children? Because you're talking about primary school children between the ages of, you're talking about children who are not even in high school yet. You're talking about children that are under the age of 12 celebrating this tradition. And if all they care about is having fun, I feel like it wouldn't be a huge deal to change up the tradition, but if if it does become a problem, then that might be a consideration. Now, one of the other things that I want to get to is, I mentioned that the way of protesting is wrong. Now, again, like I said, and I'll say it again, I totally agree with that statement. You don't protest like that by screaming at people under any circumstances. Whether it's about this holiday or not, it's not the right way to protest. But people are going to go that far because a lot of people aren't smart enough and they don't think. They don't think when they're protesting. All they think about is what their opinions are, and then they don't think about the consequences when they protest. So people will protest no matter what. They'll protest like this no matter what. But in my opinion, that's wrong. It's wrong under circumstances. You don't protest like that. But on the other side, what does the Dutch government have to do with this? Because it's a tradition. like, okay, maybe you could calmly protest, but protesting towards the government, what does the government have to do with it? Like, in a way, like, things just don't make any sense, because there are numerous ways to protest against something. And I'm talking about protesting against anything, whether it's LGBTQ rights, school rules, like, just to name a few. There's many, many different ways to protest against anything, but again, every way or method of protesting is going to have consequences. And so, to say, okay, so instead of protesting towards the Dutch government, you're basically protesting towards, people that are organizing the parade and in front of kids that are trying to have fun. Okay, that's wrong, but wouldn't protesting to the Dutch government be also wrong? Because what does the government have to do with all this? The government is not going to deal with this. I mean, maybe they might, but, like, they're not going to. Most likely, they're not going to. 80% of the time. So, in a way, it's wrong. Again, it's wrong in all levels to scream at people when you're protesting. But is it worth it to go to the Dutch government and protest that way? Is it worth it? And for me, in my opinion, the answer to that question is no, because why would the Dutch government deal with something that's traditional? Maybe they might. I don't know. I don't know much about politics. But to protest towards a government that they have no control over, it's not something that I would do as a person. Like, if I were to protest against a traditional thing towards a Canadian government, that's not something that I would do. I would find another way to protest if that was me. If that was me and I didn't like something about a Korean holiday or whatever, why would I go and I mean, it would make sense, honestly. But, like, why would I go to the government and protest that way? Maybe another way to protest would be, like, maybe another way to protest would be, like, if you, set up, like, a council meeting, and then if anyone disagrees, have them kind of protest and make their speech that way. But again, does that involve the government? I'm not really sure, because I'm not the person that's really good at or interested in politics. And I understand that. I can probably just imagine somebody going like, Riley, why would you be saying this if you have no interest in politics? I do have no interest in politics. It's true. But based on my knowledge of what the government deals with around countries and stuff, based on my knowledge, is it really a good idea? That's what I'm asking. Like, I wouldn't do that if it was me, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. What do you guys think? Because I'm not a fan of politics. I don't really care that much about politics, being only 17 years old. And I don't think any teenager cares that much about politics, to be completely honest. But based on my knowledge of what I've learned about how laws are made and how government works and, like, government systems and stuff like that, based on my knowledge, I'm saying, could it be a good idea to protest against a traditional thing towards the government? Is it something that's completely necessary? So basically, those are all I have to say. If you guys have any more opinions on this controversy, leave them in the discussion below. I'm gonna end this presentation off with Dag Sinterklaas. But I'm gonna leave the rest of the discussion up to you guys. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this tradition? Do you believe, should we embrace kind of keeping Zwarte Piet as a thing? Or should we change it? What Sinterklaas is, you can listen carefully to the facts, watch the videos, stuff like that. On the facts, those of you who are not Dutch can join in this discussion as well. But do you think it should change, or do you think it shouldn't? Because, or do you think, or are you 50-50 like what about the way of protesting? What do you think about the way of protesting? Is it right, wrong? What are some other ideas? So I'm going to leave the rest of the discussion up to you guys.
Voice over on authentication.
I have to unlock my computer.
Login, but press Safari, Sinterklaas. New toolbar in go back, press go back, press go back, out of new vertical splitter, YouTube, and YouTube. Search. Search DAG DAG INTERKLAA spell INSTRU MENTAL instru PAUL pole PASCHIER Cashier.
Speech off.
Heading action men heading level 3 visited link DAG Sinterklaas instrumental by Paul.
Okay, I'm going to end this presentation off with the rendition of Dag Sinterklaas. Dag Sinterklaasje.
Complimentary YouTube video player.